This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Scott Howell.
Hello, good neighbors, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast, brought to you by the Friends and Neighbors Group of the greater Chattanooga area. My name is Scott Howell, and I'm your host, of course. And, you know, a lot of people ask, what is the purpose of the Good Neighbor Podcast? Well, we desire to bring awareness to the residents living in our communities regarding the local owned and or operated businesses in your area and the entire Chattanooga region. And you know, a lot of people forget that small businesses, small and some have grown to be medium-sized businesses, they were the backbone of our communities. You know, our communities weren't built on corporate giants. They were built on the small local business owners, and they still need our support today. And so we don't need to forget about them. And, you know, every local business has a story to tell, something unique about who they are, how they started, how what they do, what they offer. And we just, here at the Good Neighbor Podcast, we just want to help them to shout it loud and proud to all of you out there listening, so you can know about them and know more about that business owner and the business itself. So we have one of our good neighbors here with us today, Mr. Harley Green at Workergenix. Harley, thanks for being on the Good Neighbor Podcast with us today.
My pleasure. It's great to be here, Scott. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, I want to dive in a moment and get you to tell us all about Workergenix. But before we get started with that, would you like to share anything with yourself personally or maybe your family?
Yeah, so my name's Harley Green. I'm married to my wife, Adrienne Green. We have 3 young children, ages 8, 6, and 4. We moved to the Chattanooga area in late 2020. You know, those COVID migration people coming to find freedom and a better quality life for our family. And we've just really enjoyed our time there. Our businesses have flourished. And we just started a year of international travel. So we're actually staying in Cartagena, Colombia at the moment. We rented our house out in Chattanooga, and we're experimenting with doing a travel lifestyle for a little bit.
Wow, well, that's great. Yeah, in Colombia, huh?
Absolutely. Nice. Yeah, it's got great cost of living, warm climate, a lot of activities here. So we're just loving life.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on that. Yeah. So Harley, where did you move from when you come to Chattanooga?
Yeah, we moved to Chattanooga from the Northern Virginia area, just outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. I lived in the Shenandoah Valley for a few years, and boy, I loved that place. That was an amazing place. All right. Well, I tell you what, let's just dive in and talk all about Workergenix. Tell us about what it's all about.
Absolutely. So Workergenix helps people in their businesses make more money, have more time, and have their local staff be more productive.
Okay. All right. So how do you do that? Kind of go in a little more detail about that.
Absolutely. So we provide the simplest and most cost-effective way to grow and scale businesses by leveraging what we call ultimate executive assistants. And what these people do is they handle all the kind of things that need to be done on the phone or computer that are like, you know, your administrative work, your bookkeeping, social media management, customer service, website content creation, so that you as a business owner and your local staff can focus on the top 20% activities that really move the needle in getting your business goals achieved.
Okay, so I guess your target audience with your business is more maybe it's a smaller local type business owners who haven't grown too big yet. You provide them that support that they still need, though.
That's right. So we do really well with like professional service and home-based service businesses that have teams of 3 to 5 employees already. And, you know, they're just feeling that overwhelm, and they could use some help handling phone calls so that their team can, you know, do the service that makes money more effectively and not be bogged down with all those back end things that they have to happen in business. Yeah. But it's difficult to find people to do those at an affordable price these days too.
Yeah. Okay. So so that makes a lot of sense. So tell us about your journey. How did you come about, you know, coming into something like this?
Absolutely. So my background is actually very technical. I worked as a software architect in the defense industry for about 15 years. And my wife and I had some side hustles going on. In Northern Virginia, we had 11 acres and ran a homestead. We started dabbling in some real estate investing that turned into my wife being a real estate agent. And we got to the point where we were just feeling that overwhelmed feeling, like we're up late at night, we're doing the things in our businesses like bookkeeping, newsletter, content creation, compliance, paperwork. And it was like, there's got to be a better way. And I learned about using virtual assistants overseas. And we got started working with some of those to get rid of those pain points. We learned the hard way a lot of the tough challenges of working with people remotely and virtually. And we were able to successfully grow these businesses to the point where when we moved to Chattanooga, just a couple years after that, my wife had to basically restart her real estate team being in a new area or her business. And with the help of leveraging systems and processes and these virtual assistants, went from being a solo agent to having one of the top producing teams in the area and successfully sold it last year. And so now we took all those lessons learned, and the freedom that I got from real estate investing allowed me to walk away from my career as a computer engineer. And now we take those same lessons and systems and processes and make it easy for other business owners to have similar success leveraging the virtual assistants.
Okay. How important is it to you when selecting people to work with? You said a lot of it's overseas, right? So how important is it to you that for communication purposes, we've all had that experience where we got on the phone with someone and no disrespect intended at all, but we couldn't understand what they were saying. There was a hard dialect problem there,
Absolutely. So one of the things that we focus on is our client specific needs. We don't just have a pool of people sitting around waiting to get placed for kind of, let's jam them in the box. Yeah. We do a specific talent search. And so if a client comes to us and says, hey, this is going to be a customer service role or phone-based role, we're going to make sure that they have excellent written and spoken English. They've got very minimal accent. And that's one of the things that sets us apart too, is we actually have internal accent improvement programs. And the way we're able to be so successful with that is that we source exclusively from the Philippines. And the Philippines is great because they're very pro-American. They have a long history of working with American businesses. English is a primary spoken language there, and they have prolific high-speed internet. So we take care of all the IT things like getting them a virtual phone number, online accounts, computers, and things like that, so that they're able to hit the ground running with our clients.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense because that is important. So it's good to hear, you kind of customize it to what someone's needing. I'm sure there's a lot of things out there where that's not as important. Maybe someone that's not going to be talking to your customers or handling calls, and they're just doing the background work. So yeah, that's
sure.
So how, tell us about, myths and misconceptions that people have when they come to you and you're coming to them, however it might be, and you're talking to them about what you do.
Yeah. So there's a couple that I often hear. One of them is just the concern of like, am I like outsourcing jobs, or am I like taking away opportunities from the local community? And what we're trying to solve are positions that business owners are struggling to fill, or it's not enough work to be worth hiring someone local to do. We want to keep the positions for our local neighbors on the things that they do best and that really have to be done in person, and they're focusing on their specific skills. And this actually helps our local employees be more productive, because rather than spending their time doing busy work, administrative stuff, they can have their own ultimate executive assistant with us that they're delegating to. So they're actually adding more value to your business. The other misconception we get a lot is that they can only do basic tasks, or they're uneducated. So we only hire people that have college degrees, and many of our employees actually have advanced degrees. They'll have master's degrees and more, and they leave careers in engineering and nursing to come work for us because we're actually able to give them a much higher salary than they would be able to have otherwise. So it's a win-win-win situation for everybody. Our local clients are more productive. They save a huge amount on their labor costs. And we provide life-changing careers for people in the Philippines that translates to being the most dedicated and supportive team members you can possibly have.
Yeah, because I know the cost of living is a lot different there than it is here. So if someone's making a lot higher of income than they could get there locally, like you said, that's life changing for them. And if they're we'd be foolish to think that, that we're the only country in America where they have educated people. We'd be foolish to think that, right? So there's people there who are able to provide a very high quality, service. I've worked with some people from over there before, so I know what I'm talking about. And plus, I have friends who came to college over here and went back, home or not. I'm sorry, they didn't come to college here. They worked here for a college program. They worked here for a while, and then they went back home and finished up their degree. They were able to save up some money. So yeah, I get that. That's awesome. What you're doing for them and for the people that you're providing the service to. What is the overall feedback that you're getting from the clients that you have that are actually using your service?
Yeah, people love it. Sometimes it's a little difficult. There's a learning curve, of course, of like, how do you work with someone virtually? You're not meeting in the office and seeing them at the water cooler every day. And we try to make it easy. We provide a lot of resources for our clients, like a task management portal. So it's really easy to keep track of what you've assigned your assistant to handle. We get that virtual phone service. So if you want to just pick up your phone and call them, you can do that. You can text them. You can have video calls, Zoom. And so we kind of are there to support and guide them. And that's one of the advantages of how we have it set up, is that they remain our employees and we take care of all the complex things like HR, payroll, salaries, the benefits, bonuses. So our clients just have a monthly subscription, no long-term contract, and they get the best possible support that they need.
Wow. Okay. That's great. Well, there's always one thing that I like to ask every business that comes on the program. I love to ask this question. And I guess when I ask, I'm talking about the heart of you and the company, not just what you do. But if there was one thing that you wish that our listeners could know about Harley Green and Workergenix, but they probably wouldn't know unless you shared it with them, and you'd like to state it loud and proud here today on the Good Neighbor podcast, what would it be?
Yeah. So the thing that I really am passionate about is learning to delegate. So many people wait too long to start delegating things. They say, you know what, I'll get that assistant, when I hit this income threshold on my business. And the issue is they're holding themselves back by not making that investment in themselves to free up their time to do the things that they need to do to get to that income level. And so my advice to people would just be like, think about what needs to happen to achieve your goals and what your life would look like if you could spend your time focused exclusively on achieving those goals and not the other stuff that has to happen in the business.
Wow. That's a good thought. I mean, because you're right. I'm being an entrepreneur myself. A lot of times in my past, I have waited too long. I mean, I was overwhelmed working. I felt like I was working 24 hours a day, staying up late at night, waking up early in the morning, trying to get function without sleep, so you're right. It sounds like an amazing service that you're offering to everyone. And I'm sure you're greatly appreciated for that. Harley,
I love seeing the stories that come in from my clients. We have tons and tons of 5-star reviews of people just sharing like the big difference it makes when they start delegating, and whether it's like some people use them to help generate revenue, whether it's making websites, behind the scenes, they're doing the work, making websites, editing podcasts, or on the front end, just doing the call center or generating leads. And then on the backside, we just had a story this week. One of our employees, he shared, he bought his first car because of this job. And wow. It's just like really warms my heart seeing those kinds of stories.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, and there are some things that it's harder to find people to do in the United States. Some of the considered maybe lower paying jobs. It's hard to find people to fill those slots. So I'm sure that's wonderful opportunity that they're getting as well. So I will give you a moment here, Harley, to just let everybody know your information, how they can reach you, find out more about you, whether it's online or offline.
Absolutely. I love networking. I'm very passionate about building wealth, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. And so people can connect with me at workergenix.com. If they go to workergenix.com/Harley, my calendar is there. They can grab a time slot. We'll have a meeting. I'd love to just grow my network and see how we can all collaborate.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds great, Carly, and congratulations on your international traveling. Excuse me. Just make sure that you don't make the left turn in the wrong neighborhood in any of them countries now. Just be safe out there. Come back home safely to Chattanooga, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
Great success to you and your family, and I wish you continued success and have a lot of fun out there. I'm sure your kids are learning a whole lot. Being able to travel and experience other cultures. So y'all be safe and hope to see you back in Chattanooga soon.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. To all the good neighbors of the Chattanooga area, after meeting with Harley and learning more about Workergenix, I know he hopes you'll take a moment to consider what they have to offer. If you're a local entrepreneur, local business owner, think about what he has to offer you. If it fits into something you need, you're at that point in your business where you just really need more help, you need more experience, but you don't know how to go about it. Maybe you don't want to even manage that part of it. You just contact Harley and see if there's anything he can do to help you. And before ending this episode, I'd like to thank you all, the listeners, for taking time out of your busy day to visit with us at the Good Neighbor Podcast. And always remember to support the locally owned and operated businesses in the greater Chattanooga area. And as I like to say, that's from Cleveland to Dalton, from Jasper to Benton. You're all important to us. And this is Scott Howell with the Friends and Neighbors Group. Everyone go out and make this a remarkable day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpcleveland.com. That's gnpcleveland.com. Or call 423-380-1984.